Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your humbled host, Crime Time. Back at it for a brand new video. Before I get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on all of my videos. Save Our Children TV, Crime Time, and Charles Reactions so you'll be notified every single time I drop a brand new video. I go live on Save Our Children TV channel Mondays and Thursdays. I go live on Crime Time channel on Wednesdays and Fridays. I go live on Charles Reactions on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow me down below in the comment section so you'll be notified every single time I drop a new video. Last week, we talked about death row inmates, females and males. Today we're going to talk about 7 of history's most notorious serial killers. And then this Friday, we're going to talk on this channel, talk about 20 of the most infamous male killers. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. Strictly speaking, a serial killer is someone who murders at least 2 people in separate events that occur at different times. While serial murder is not formalized by any legal code, the crimes of serial killers have often been seized on by the media and on public consciousness, especially in cases where there are many victims or murderers are carried out in gruesome fashion. The following list explores some of the most notorious serial killers the world has ever known. Jack the Reaper. We call him Jack the Reaper, but we don't really know who the person behind one of the older and most notorious murder sprees was. The killer appeared in London's Whitechapel district in 1888 and murdered 5 women, all prostitutes, and mutilated the corpse. Police submerged the killer was a surgeon, butcher, or someone skilled with a scalpel. The killer mocked the community and the police by sending letters outlining the acts. Although many suspects have been named over the years, the killer has never been identified. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer started killing in 1970 at just 18 years old and wasn't arrested for murder until 1991, after a would-be victim escaped and led police back to Dahmer's Milwaukee, Wisconsin home. It was there that some of the gruesome details of his life of killing was seen via photos of mutilated bodies and body parts. Stored across the apartment, he even had a vat of acid he used to dispose of victims. In all, Dahmer killed 17 people, mostly young men of color. He served time in prison twice. The first time for molestation and the second time for murder, and was killed by a fellow inmate in 1994. Harold Shipman. Harold Shipman, also known as Dr. Death, is believed to have killed at least 218 patients. Although the total is quite closer to 250, this doctor practiced in London in between 1972 and 1998, worked in 2 different offices, killing all the while. He wasn't caught until a red flag was raised by several people, including an undertaker, who was surprised by the sheer number of cremation certificates Shipman was a part of, along with the fact that most of the cases were elderly women found to have died in bed, not at night but rather during the day. Police mishandled the investigation, and Shipman kept killing until he got greedy and tried to concoct a will for a victim that named him beneficiary, which led the victim's daughter to become suspicious. He was finally convicted in 2000 and committed suicide while in prison in 2004. John Wayne Gacy, A construction worker known by his suburban neighbors as outgoing John Wayne Gacy was involved in politics and even acted as a clown for his birthday parties. He was no clown. Gacy came under suspicion in 1978 when a 15-year boy last seen with him went missing. That wasn't the only time families of missing boys have pointed fingers at Gacy, but it was the first time authorities took them seriously. Soon after, a search warrant granted police access to Gacy home with a smell of nearly 30 bodies buried in a 4-foot crawl space under his home. He was convicted of 33 counts of murder with additional counts of rape and torture and was executed by lethal injection in 1994. H Holmes. Chicago has had its share of killers, but perhaps more hunting than H Holmes, the pharmacist who turned the hotel into a torture castle. Ahead of the 1893 World's Fair, Holmes moved to Chicago and started outfitting a three-story hotel with all manner of nefarious contraptions, including gas lines, secret passages, and trapdoors, hallways to dead ends, chutes to the basement, soundproof padding, and torture devices strewn through a maze. The gas allowed Holmes to knock out his glass before the worst of what was happening come next. Often on his surgical table, he then burned the bodies in the building's selling skeletons to medical schools and running life insurance scams. In all, he copped to more than 30 murders. Found only after a fellow scammer turned him in for falling short on a financial agreement before he was hanged in 1896. Pedro Lopez, one of the world's most prolific serial killers, might still be out there. Pedro Lopez is linked to more than 300 murders in the native Colombia and Ecuador and Peru. At least one-third of those murders were tribal women. After Lopez's arrest in 1880, police found the graves of more than 50 of his preteen victims and was later convicted of murdering 110 girls in Ecuador and confessed to 240 more murders in Colombia and Peru, the monster of the Andes. Then he was spent 20 years in prison and he was released in 1998 for good behavior. More than 20 years since, his whereabouts remain unknown. So you can't let many people get out of prison. That's Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy loved the attention his murders garnered him, and many in the United States were more than happy to give him that attention. The Western U.S. was his hunting ground, with an unknown number of murders piling up, mostly college-age women from Washington and Oregon all the way to Utah and Colorado. Bundy was once arrested in Colorado and convicted of kidnapping, but he escaped custody, moving to Florida, where he killed multiple times more. Bundy's final arrest and his aftermath captured the attention of the nation as the accused murderer acted as his own lawyer during what is believed to have been the first televised murder trial, welcomed interviews, and boasted of fans he had created. He was eventually executed in an electric chair in 1989. Since we're on this, uh, since this video is gonna be roughly short, I'm gonna tell you one more, another seven. This time it's gonna be the 7 unique burial rituals across the world. Sky burial. Sky burial is common in Tibet among Buddhists who believed in the value of sending the loved one's souls toward heaven. In this ritual, bodies are left outside, often cut into pieces for birds or other animals to devour. This serves the dual purpose of eliminating the now empty vessel of the body and allowing the soul to depart while also embracing the circle of life and giving substance to animals. Famadihana. Dancing with the Dead best describe the burial tradition in Madagascar of Famadahana. The Malagasy people open the tombs of the dead every few years and rewrap them in fresh burial clothes. Each time the dead get fresh wrappings, they also get a fresh dancing near the tomb or music played around this ritual. Translated as the turning of the bones is meant to speed up decomposition and push the spirit of the dead towards the afterlife. Water burial. Many cultures, especially in Nordic countries, have embraced water in the rituals of choices for the dead, from laying coffins atop cliffs faced towards the water to actually using the water as a burial ground. Some set bodies adrift in death ships, either along a river or sent out into the ocean, giving the bodies back to the gods, a place most valued by the people of the area. The parade. Celebrating the life of the deceased can take many forms. A tradition from Varanasi, India, involves parading the dead through the streets, the bodies dressed in colors that highlight the virtues of the deceased, red for purity or yellow for knowledge. For example, in an effort to encourage souls to reach salvation and in the cycle of reincarnation, the bodies are sprinkled with water from the Ganges River and then cremated at the town's main cremation grounds. Tower of Silence. One one Zoroastrian tradition requires vultures to keep its ancient burial ritual alive, and in that tradition, the dead body is believed to defile everything it touches, including the ground and fire, and raising a corpse to the sky for vultures to devour was historically the only option. Blood's urine is used to clean the body before tools, which are later destroyed, are used to cut off clothing. The corpse is then placed atop the Tower of Silence, out of the way of the living who could be tainted by it. Ashes to death beads. While countless burial traditions around the world include cremation, South Koreans have taken it a step further by turning the ashes of the deceased into beads. These beads have a bit of shine to them and come in any array of colors, from pink or black to turquoise, placed inside glass vases or even open in dishes. The beads can then take center stage inside a home or more decorative choice than a conventional urn. In a country where space is at premium and cremation is becoming the only realistic choice for burying the dead, getting something beautiful out of the process, give loved ones a new tradition to embrace and an heirloom to treasure. An array of Filipino traditions. We promise 7 unique burial rituals, but when it comes to the Philippines, there are just too many to choose from. The Tanguan, people dress the deceased in the fancy of clothes and set the body on a chair. Often place a lit cigarette in the lips where the banquet people blindfold their dead before placing them in the chair at the entrance of the home. The Kabuno, people dress children attending the funerals in red to leave the chance that they will see ghosts. The Sagag, the region features coffins hung from cliffs, bringing the souls of the dead closer to heaven, while people in while while people in Cavet often entomb the deceased virtually in a hollow oak tree chosen by the person before death. The diversity of regions in the Philippines are giving rise to a diversity of Filipino burial rituals that comes second to none. New seven wonders of the world. Okay, so please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you be notified every single time I drop a brand new video on my channels. My channels, again, names are Say About Children TV, Charles Reactions, and Crime Time. Please make sure you go on my channels and subscribe. Turn on that post notification. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop a brand new video on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.